morning, everybody, and welcome to this eMarketeer Academy on lead management. We are going to talk about lead management for SuperOffice today, and specifically some of the important things we need to think about when we do lead management and why it's become so important that lead management and lead nurturing and winning new leads is not only something that happens in the marketing team, but we greatly include and think about how sales are supposed to take over the leads that we are generating. So that's why we're focusing on SuperOffice CRM, because that's where sales and account managers have their daily lives, and we want to make sure that all of the insights that we create in marketing is available to them there in the CRM as well. So that's what we'll be talking about. My name is Klaus. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at eMarketeer. Like many of you guys, I am a marketeer. I am a user of marketing software. I'm not a technician. I'll be happy to answer any questions as good as I can, but I will have to do some of the more techie questions. I'll have to include some of my colleagues there. I've been here for 6 years, and I've worked closely with the SuperOffice teams in the Nordic countries as well to understand the ins and outs of the CRM. Basically bringing marketing and sales together. So we'll be covering today these three pieces. First of all, 4 things that we really need to keep in mind when nurturing leads. So this is nothing really to do with software or platforms or CRM. It's how we work and how we think about how we communicate to our leads. The next thing is to consider what has happened to sales and marketing. Why is it so important that lead nurturing and lead management is a top priority, and why sales and marketing alignment is a top priority for us today. And then lastly, we'll look at a lead management flow from eMarketeer to SuperOffice CRM. And basically, if you don't know any of these platforms, just think about how the marketing team and the marketing tools work together with the CRM tools to get that full picture of what's going on in the organization. Okay, basically just a few words about eMarketeer. We're a Swedish company based in Stockholm, founded in 2002 as a cloud-based marketing platform. So we've been around the block a few times. We are a marketing platform, which basically means that you can manage all of your marketing tasks in one tool. So you'll see all the different icons there representing email marketing, surveys, mobile, tracking your website traffic, social media, landing pages, and a lot more. And basically then there are automations to tie it all together. So what this means is that if you learn one tool, for instance, our email editor, you can use that same way of working across all of your different marketing channels for all of your different marketing projects, instead of having many, many different tools for one purpose. And what's even more great about having everything in one place is when you integrate or you work together with the CRM, because then you can really use your marketing platform to feed the CRM with all the information on customer behavior, on lead activity that you are generating. So just having one place for the marketeers to do all of their projects and have that place feed vital information into the CRM is really the crux of what we do. Okay, enough about us. I want to know something about you guys. So I'm going to launch a few quick polls, and I hope you'll play with and answer these polls real quick. It'll give me some context about where you are in your organizations and help me relay back to that as we go through some of the content later on. So I will go ahead and launch the first poll. So you should be seeing a poll on your screen. It says state of your CRM. So I'd like you to ask, please, which of these answers represent you. Do you use SuperOffice CRM? Do you use another CRM tool? Or are you not really using a CRM tool in your organization? And now you should be seeing the results. So the audience today, we have a lot of SuperOffice CRM users, which is obviously not a surprise given the topic of this webinar, but we also have 60% of you who use another CRM. And I'm happy to see that none of you don't have a CRM yet. That's great. That would be my very first recommendation for you, is get out there and do some investigation on CRM. But you're all good and set. That's fine. So just the next poll, please. I'm going to launch that now. It says, do you find it easy for marketing to share information on leads with sales? So please select one of the following. Yes, it's quite easy and automatic to share information from marketing to sales. Is it okay but manual, or is it bloody difficult? Giving a lot of SuperOffice and potentially also a lot of eMarketeer users, obviously I hope that you don't find it all bloody difficult, but it'll be interesting to see how this all flows. I'm going to close the poll as we go past 80%, 85% of you guys voting. So have a look at the result here. So with all of you guys having CRM systems, still almost 70% of you think it is okay to share information between sales and marketing, but it's very manual. So I imagine grabbing Excel lists, uploading them into the CRM system, or creating selections and filters and projects and campaigns in your CRM manually based on the stuff you do in marketing, because the way marketing works is not really integrated or part of the process in the CRM, which is a shame. 26% of you find it quite easy and automatic. I'm happy to hear. Well done, guys. Okay, last one. So bear with me as I launch the last poll, and that is around your lead nurturing. How would you describe your lead nurturing? We don't really do any lead nurturing. And when I say lead nurturing, I mean, how do you communicate to prospect customers before they're ready to buy from you, before sales really get involved? How do you nurture, how do you take care of those leads? Do you manually send out information? Is that something that happens automatically, or is it even so cool that it happens automatically based on their lead behavior? 70% don't really do any lead nurturing, so you don't have an established process by which you communicate to people who've shown some kind of interest in you, but aren't really ready to buy yet. There's a lot of potential going on there. And then look at this block. 63% do lead nurturing, but you do so manually. That means when you have information like newsletters or brochures or product information or campaigns, you broadcast that out when you're ready. So it's based on your timing, not on the lead behavior, not on their interests. And 10% in both of these camps that do automatically send out lead nurturing and that do that based on the behavior. Now the real difference here is basing your send outs on your timing versus basing it on lead behavior can really make a huge difference from how you convert leads into mature leads or into marketing and sales qualified leads. Because if you base your information send out, your lead nurturing on their activity, when they show you by their behavior that they're ready to be communicated to, you'll see a lot better conversions and a lot better results. You'll see salespeople contacting prospects and leads that are ready to discuss what you have on offer. So there's a huge difference there. So there's a lot of potential, and I'm really glad that we can explore some of that today. So thank you very much for playing along with the polls. That was great. I will share the poll results as well with you guys after the webinar, like I will the slides and the recording. So don't worry about that. You don't have to screen grab throughout the webinar today. Okay, so without further ado, thanks for that. Let's move on to lead management, this whole concept, and really my 4 key takeaways for you guys to consider when you are designing your lead nurturing or your lead management process here. These are really key lessons. First off is you have to focus on the customer experience, or the lead experience as it is in this case. That means you have to think about their situation, what's interesting for them, how can you help them be more educated, more entertained, and more understanding what the products and services you have on offer are doing to solve the issues that they may have. It's not about your features and prices and your products so much, it's about them and their situation. So understanding them becomes crucial. And that's why we're talking about personas. Understanding that at your leads companies, there are different people that you need to influence. There is a business Brian, there's a marketing Marie, there's a controller Kevin, maybe. So you need to think about the message you have. Does that really resonate with the different stakeholders that are out there in the organizations at your leads and prospects? So think about how you construct your communication, your messages, so you resonate well with these target groups. It's all about them. It's not about you when it comes to the content that you should be delivering. The second tip here is to personalize everything. Now, I'm not talking about product personalization necessarily. We don't all have to be Nike that can make individual sneakers for you, but really the communication process that you have, that you personalize that. And obviously using information you have like name and company, weave that into the message is great, but it's more than that. It's also personalizing the whole process. When do you deliver content? What kind of content do you deliver? Do you deliver the same type of content to everybody? Or do you really make sure that you listen to their behavior, you listen to their potential buying signals, and you deliver the relevant content to them based on that? And that brings me to this circle of content, because what we tend to do, and a huge portion of you guys do, you send out manual lead nurturing based on your timing. So maybe you do not tailor it to the different leads, and you certainly do not tailor it to when they are showing you that they're interested. So this is all about delivering the right content at the right time to the right person. That is really what this is all about, customizing the delivery of content, delivering of marketing messages based on when people are good and ready to receive it. That brings me to the next logical tip here, is to embrace marketing automation. You need to automate these processes in order for them to happen every day. You might have really good days when you're completely on the mark with delivering message to the right leads at the right time, but making sure that that also happened on the not so great days, or when you're out on a conference or in a meeting like this, things need to be automated. And they certainly need to be automated when you also need to include sales in the information loop to tell them what is going on. So if you want to tailor your communication and your content types to the different stages in the sales funnel or the different stages of the customer journey, you need to have automation help you out. Now, marketing automation as a term has been around for quite a while, and it may still seem a little bit scary, but basically it's just having things happen automatically. So when a lead does this, you want that to happen. Basically, that's it. It can be a lot more complicated, but let's start off simple and let's make that happen and make it easy. And the fourth tip, and maybe the most important one, is to tear down the silos in your organization. Silos between the sales team, where they do all of their stuff, and the marketing team, where they do all their stuff. Break those silos down and have them work as one. Share insights, share success stories, share the way that you measure when something works well. Share results, and make sure that you're looking at the same data where the data is supposed to be. So in the marketing system for the marketeers, and in the CRM for the people working with sales and account management. So bring down the silos between the different departments. And also bring down the silos in the marketing team. Sorry. There are a lot of great tools out there where you can do your marketing. You've got a content management system for your website, and maybe a mobile marketing system for your SMSs and apps, and maybe something else for your newsletters. The problem is, the more systems you get, the more things you have to master. Interfaces to learn, databases to maintain, integrations to other systems to have IT help you out with, and it just creates a lot of frustration. It's frustrating for you as a user, because you need to master all of these tools, and your most important task becomes managing Excel sheets and uploading and downloading these between different applications. And it's also hugely frustrating for the organization, because what you do in marketing is you communicate to customers, you communicate to leads, you do surveys and evaluations, you gather insights from website traffic, and if you can't really bring that together in one holistic picture, a 360-degree view of your customers, if you will, it's really frustrating for people working in account management or sales, because they don't have a clue about what you've been doing in marketing, and what answers have been given to surveys, and what event evaluations has been given, and so on. So bringing all of that together will lower the frustration and make it easier for you. With silos in place, the sales and marketing team often look like this. Not the best friends, not really on the same page when it comes to what's important. Sales often has sayings like, we're not getting enough leads from marketing. And marketing often responds, well, we give you tons of leads, but you're never following up. And basically everything we can agree on is the other side have no idea of what we're doing and what's important. Now, I don't think it's because these colleagues want to be at war, but it's because they don't look at the reality from the same lens. They don't look at the same data. You've got the CRM system over there where you've got your meeting notes and your offers and whatnot, and then you've got the marketing platform that houses all of the information with lead and customer behavior. So we need to make sure that we can offer some transparency. They need the same lens to look at reality. They need the same information to share across the different platforms where they work. This is really crucial. Maybe this dialogue is not happening in your organizations, but I can tell you I've met it in a lot of organizations out there. So why is this also so important? Why is it so important to work as one between sales and marketing, to share customer insights, to really automate the delivery of relevant content to the right people at the right time? Why is this such an important topic right now? Well, think about this. When you make a decision yourself, maybe you want to buy a new phone or a new digital camera, well, basically a phone, or something else. You do a lot of research online. You check out websites, you go to review sites, maybe you ask your friends and peers on social networks. You do a lot of research. So when you hit that store to buy that phone or that wireless speaker or whatever it is, you know almost more than the sales clerk does about this specific product. So we do a lot of this research ourselves, and studies show that up to 70 or even 80% of a business-to-business decision, 70% of the research of the decision-making process you go through that on your own with your peers, with your colleagues, not including the vendors of the products and services that you're researching. That means that previously, marketing would cater this part of the customer journey with brochures and presentations and websites and advertisements, and sales would cover a lot of the customer journey because sales was involved in the dialogue with the leads. Today, marketing covers a lot more ground in the customer journey with webinars, seminars, white papers, websites, videos, a lot of content that leads and customers consume, and sales are left without real insight into how that content is being consumed. How are your leads and customers interacting with your content? It's not really clear for them because it's not happening in the CRM system, right? So that is why this change of how we behave, how we research and make decisions, it really has a great impact on the way that we need to work together as sales and marketing to make sure that sales and account managers have the right insights when they go into a dialogue with a lead to make the most relevant and qualified dialogue there. So basically, bringing it all together, we have lead management across many different marketing channels with the intention of influencing behavior. That may be visiting a website or joining a webinar or going to a trade show. And when people do that, when they actually respond and have the behavior that you are going for, you want to make sure that you listen to what's going on. You capture the answers. You listen to the link clicks. You look at the website visits. And then you use all of that to tailor the communication to these people. So instead of showing up and throwing up all content you have at one go, you make episodes of your content and deliver that content over time. And you can also tailor the different types of content to different people over time as they expose more and more interest to you. And then lastly, make sure obviously that sales is in the loop throughout. So when they are ready to interact with a lead, they can go back and say, okay, it was this email campaign, it was this sign up, and it was this event that my lead has been participating in and interested in. So I have a full picture of what is going on with my lead. Why are they interested? So this is what we'll be going through in the lead management flow from eMarketeer to SuperOffice. And here's the example. So basically up here, we have our website, we have social media, events, maybe point of sale, mobile apps, many different places where you can generate and capture new leads, right? So it could be many more channels than this that you're grabbing leads from, but the concept is the same here. So you're grabbing new leads out there, and you want to make sure that this is SuperOffice CRM, by the way, but this is just to symbolize your CRM system for those 16% of you that are using other platforms. So you capture new leads, and you want to make sure that the CRM system is in tune. If these persons are already in the CRM, you want to make sure that you update what's relevant there. And then you start a journey, an automated journey of information to these new leads. You make sure to welcome them with an on-brand, beautifully designed, responsive email that really carries quality content. And then you really start listening. How are they interacting with your content? Let's say a couple of days after the welcome email, you send another email with two different products, product A and product B. Now, if they click on product A and spend 8 minutes on your website about product A, should you be sending them information about product B the day after? Probably not. So make sure that you can listen to the interactions, listen to the behavior of the leads, so that you can tailor the follow-up communication, the automated lead nurturing to the interests that they're showing you based on their interactions. So in this case, if the lead received an information, they click onto a product, we make sure to update the CRM that product has been clicked. So that's an interest. We follow out automatically with more in-depth information on this particular product. and then at some point maybe we have a call to action, download the price list, or look at a brochure, or talk to a consultant, and that triggers an activity towards the CRM. So the first part of the journey really is not where we're getting sales or account managers involved yet. It's too early days, but when they do follow that specific call to action, you want to make sure that you get a sales rep engaged so they can act proactively and with full insights into everything that's been going on. So this is the example that we'll be going through. A new lead shows up. What do we do in marketing? How do we hand over the leads to sales? And how can we really bring a lot of valuable information into the SuperOffice CRM to make the sales and account managers as effective as possible? Okay, so here we are at a car website where you can sign up for, in this case, a newsletter, but it could also be an ebook or a white paper, a seminar, anything. Really just capturing the lead information in a form. Again, if this was a trade show, maybe you had a tablet on your stand out there that you could jot your data into, and you will be captured the same way, and it will flow into the same process here. So just as an example. So here, Klaus is signing up and indicating that he's interested in industry news and car reviews. Okay, so this is the perspective of the new lead. Now we look at marketing. So eMarketeer on the left-hand side here is where the lead is being captured. So this form on the website is built in eMarketeer, integrated into the company website. So now we have tabs on the lead here. We know what the lead has been doing, and we can automate the process from here. And then let's shift perspective onto our colleagues in sales. They work in SuperOffice. So on the right-hand side here, it's SuperOffice CRM. If you don't know this product, don't worry. You don't have to know where everything is. This is just an example of how effective SuperOffice is of showing all of this information to the people working there, so sales and account managers. So we automatically update industry news and car reviews as specific interest because that's what he ticked on the website. We automatically put him into a selection, which is basically a filter or a list in the CRM tool. In this case, we've called the selection subscribers, and we put that guy in there because he's now a subscriber to the newsletter. So we can use this selection to future sendouts, and we can use the selection to tell our colleagues in sales and account managers, everybody in this selection, in this list, is getting our newsletter. Okay, that's great. So we've got the marketing side engaged. We've got the relevant information that we know. He's a new subscriber. He's interested in industry reviews and industry news and car reviews. So we've got that covered. And so here's the recipient. He receives the welcome email, welcome to a world of cars. We've got two products here, Porsche and Chevrolet. He clicks on Porsche and browses Porsche on my website. So what does this tell me? It tells me that he's interested in this product more than family cars and Chevrolets and other things that I may have in that welcome email. And obviously I want to use that information. This is him telling me something with his behavior that I can use to really focus my message to him. In the CRM, I am now just informing the contact owner, the sales owner, look, Klaus shows an interest in Porsche in the welcome email. It's a closed activity, so it's not really a to-do item. He doesn't need to get on the phone right now. This is just for his information. If he opens up this activity, he will be able to see the email in a preview, see which links were clicked, when it happened, and all of that. So he has full insight into, aha, this happened. So if he gets on the phone, at least he knows that this has happened. We also update the interests. He's interested in Porsche because he just told us with a link click, so we automatically tick that off in the CRM system. On the marketing side is where we orchestrate everything. So we have the campaign in eMarketeer. Here we have the sign-up form that was sitting on my website. We have the welcome email that went out directly, automatically, personalized to the recipient. And then we have some follow-up email. This one is called Porsche Nurture Email, and I'm sure you can guess what this is all about. I want my marketing platform to send the Porsche email to the people who've clicked the Porsche article in my welcome email, of course, and I want to have that to happen automatically. So we do that with an automation. And here is where the hairy and techie bit is really taking down to some simple steps. Basically, you're just telling eMarketeer, what would you like to do? I would like to send an email. I would like it to be the Porsche Nurture email, and I would like that to go out 3 hours, or maybe 3 days, this is a bit aggressive, after something happened. And I want you to listen for the welcome email, the newsletter demo, the first email that goes out automatically. When the recipient clicks a specific link, namely the link to Porsche on my website, then please wait 3 days and send the follow-up email. So that's all there is to it. When this happened, do this, please. Then, a couple of days later, the follow-up email arrives. Now it's focused on Porsche. That's great because I have an interest in Porsche. At least that's what I showed by clicking on that email. So the recipient clicks through and browses the brochure on this beautiful car. Now, this is a pretty important milestone in the customer journey because we have an agreement with our colleagues in sales that when someone grabs the brochure and starts browsing it, I want to know. I want to be engaged and be able to go into a sales dialogue. So here's a couple of things that we kick off. First off, we put the person into a project in SuperOffice. So a project is, and this project is called test drives because our deal with sales is whenever a lead is qualified on this high-ticket car, we want to invite them to test drive the car with a local dealer. So he's put into a project. And we also create an activity, and now this activity is open, right? So this is a to-do item for the contact owner. Call, invite Klaus for test drive. He's downloaded the Porsche Spider brochure, right? So now the lead is qualified. He's showing the right signs of interest. So we want to get him into one of the seats of these cars at a local dealer. And next up, we also create a potential sale. So we know that the value of this car and the sales stage is offer because they're doing a test drive and whatnot. Maybe it's a bit aggressive in this case, but you get the picture if you use sales and pipeline forecasting in your CRM. This is how we can automatically pipeline and forecast sales based on marketing activities and marketing leads flowing into the CRM systems. Obviously, we can't sit and do this in isolation in marketing. We need dialogue between sales and marketing to figure out when is a lead qualified enough, when does it qualify for a potential sale, when should it start filling my pipeline. Okay. And then in eMarketeer, we have tabs on everything that's going on. So we have a SuperOffice monitor that tells the marketeer, how am I doing? Am I generating more leads this month than the month prior? How am I doing with creating tasks and building selections and projects in SuperOffice? In marketing, we are more focused on groups and segments and trends than we are on individuals. We can compare our campaigns to see which campaigns are generating more leads than others. That's what we're really interested in marketing, not so much the individual. But if we shift the perspective to our colleagues in sales and account management in CRM, they're all about the individual, obviously. Now it's time to call Klaus and invite him for that test drive. So I really want to do a deep dive into what has this guy been doing on our emails, on our website, in ebook downloads and whatnot, to get an idea of his interests before I call him. So we'll look at the timeline. This is the eMarketeer timeline in SuperOffice. And the first lot here shows me what is this lead all about if we ask the web. We find a profile image. We find all of the social channels where this guy is active. So let's say I wanted to check out his Twitter feed. Is he tweeting about Porsche? Is he tweeting about different car dealers? Is he asking questions on LinkedIn? Do we share any contacts on LinkedIn? I can just click here and go straight to the profiles to see if I can do some social selling there. It also grabs the biography of LinkedIn if that's publicly available. Then on the right-hand side, it shows me how active is this lead. Is he increasingly active in my marketing material, or is he cooling off? And then as I scroll down, I see all of the different steps that this lead has taken in his customer journey. So if we just expand this, you can see he arrives on my website. He signs up for my newsletter in the form. He opens the newsletter and even clicks the welcome email. That's why it's green all the way to the right here. And I can dive into these different elements and see what did he do exactly in this email. This is the follow-up email on Porsche with the brochure. I can see how did it look, which links were clicked, and all of the information I need. I don't have to get on the phone with my colleagues in marketing saying, what are we doing on Porsche right now? How does the campaign look? I have all of that covered right inside the CRM. I also have form answers, website visits, and whatnot. So I can really prepare my call for this guy quite detailed. Think about the website visits. Let's say he clicked on Porsche, he looked at the brochure, that's all fine. but then he went onto my website to browse family cars for 20 minutes. So maybe he's dreaming about a Porsche, but in reality, he probably needs a station wagon for his family. That's great insight to have from me as a salesperson. So I'm not pushing that supercar sale quite too hard, but I'm also open to that the sales talk can go in different directions based on the interest that he's showing on my website. Okay. Now, this person was already in eMarketeer. This lead was already registered, and it had already been assigned to a contact owner. That's why we could just update interest codes and add activities and all of that good stuff. But obviously, in marketing, we're also generating leads that are not yet in the CRM tool, right? Trade shows, website, advertising. We're generating traffic and new leads, and we want to make sure that these leads are handed over to sales in the CRM, where they can take action, right? In many, many organizations, handing over leads to sales happen by sending them an Excel file saying, okay, these are the 200 contacts that visited our booth at last week's trade show. Have fun, right? That's not really handing over leads, and it certainly isn't giving them insight and content into what's going on with these leads. So let's do that better. So if we look at how that could be done using the leads report in SuperOffice. Here's a look at that. So we'll look at the lead report, and this lead report is eMarketeer report made available inside SuperOffice CRM where sales and account managers live. So when you go in here, you see the leads that have made some kind of interesting activity in marketing, but we couldn't really find them in the CRM tool. They're not yet there yet. So the first one here is the most interesting sale. That's Steve. He wants to test drive a Ferrari. So we have the amount and the stage and everything, but we couldn't find Steve in the CRM. And we're not just shooting data into the CRM. It's gate kept on the lead report. So what you can do here is you can click Take Ownership, and with 2 clicks, you would create the contact, you would create the company, you would create the sale, update interest codes, add to the right selections and projects, and all of that stuff that you have automated in eMarketeer just by saying, yes, I take ownership of Steve, and create the contact in SuperOffice. Further down the list, you have other people who've done interesting activities in your marketing campaigns, and these contacts are not in the CRM yet either. So here is really where a pre-sales manager or the sales reps go in to cherry pick the leads and assign either themselves as contact owners or colleagues that are responsible for different products. For instance, you could assign those people there, and you would automatically create all of the contacts in SuperOffice and all the companies. If you don't need the lead just yet, you can simply click on the X, and the lead would disappear from the leads report, and it would still be available in eMarketeer for further lead nurturing until the lead is good and ready. So that is really the whole process of driving traffic, in this case to a website or through social media or to a trade show stand, capture lead information, nurture that lead over time, and hand it over to sales when the lead is qualified for that, and even make sure that the information on the lead is ready for sales if they look at the lead through the CRM system. Let me just bring up a couple of questions that came up here. Here's a question from Tora. Yo, eMarketeer, yo, back at you, Tora. I was wondering how you created an activity in SuperOffice that's already completed. Excellent. So it's a good question, Tora, because if you create an activity that's open, that basically is a to-do item, maybe it's a little bit too much if it's early in the lead management, lead nurturing process. So what you want to do there is you want to create an activity that's closed, so you have it if you want to review history. What has this guy been doing? But you're not really alerted about that. And let me just show you. Just exit the slides here. So basically, what Tora is asking is, how do I create an activity in SuperOffice that's not open, it's not a to-do, it's a closed-off activity? Let's go say that we have the welcome email here in eMarketeer. Those are my 4 components. And what I want to do is I want to just alert just create a little information that's not a to-do item. So I go ahead and say create automation. And here are all the automations that I can do in eMarketeer towards SuperOffice. I can create a new sale. I can create a task. That's an open activity. I can notify sales, and that's the closed activity, Tora. So, and then just for the sake of the list here, I can add and remove from selections, I can add and remove from projects, and I can update interest codes on the contact card. So if I say notify sales rep in SuperOffice, it will create an activity in SuperOffice with the details that I'm giving it here. For instance, I could say it is in the category other, and I could say first name, so that would merge in the contact name. Showed an interest in welcome email is the text that I would like to put into the activity. And when would I like to do that? Well, for instance, when the welcome email is any link is clicked. Not a specific link, but any link. So if he clicks a link in the welcome email, I will say the lead showed an interest, right? So this will create a closed activity in SuperOffice. It's not a to-do, but the contact owner can go in, open the activity, see which emails, see which links were clicked, and when it happened. So he has the insight. So that's a notifier. It ends up on the contact history on the activities tab, but it's ticked off as completed. So Tor, I hope that answered your question. Here's another question from Tanya. If someone is browsing on your web page but doesn't fill out a form, can you track that also? The way we track people visiting your website, Tanya, is we send them an email at some point. You send them a welcome email or a confirmation or a newsletter, and when they click a link in that email, we leave a cookie on their machine. And whenever they come back, regardless if it's from an email or a Google search or an advertisement, we can recognize the cookie on the machine and track the visit on the website. So he doesn't have to complete a form. As long as he came through at the initial visit through an email, we can continue to track. We don't track visits anonymously yet, so based on IP addresses, but that's certainly something that we're looking at, Tanya. Here's a question from Sumaya. Can we pull all data from Excel to SuperOffice? Well, Sumaya, you can definitely upload Excel files into SuperOffice. Is that what you mean? If you have a lot of contact information, a lot of history there, you can upload data and create companies and contacts and merge it into that for sure. And you can do the same thing in eMarketeer. Anywhere in eMarketeer, you have contacts, that's individuals. You can import contacts, right? And what you basically do there is you tell to upload an Excel file, and you simply paste in your rows and columns from Excel, and it automatically maps all of the fields it recognizes to your eMarketeer database, and then you can map manually the rest of the fields, and then you upload all of the information into eMarketeer. So it's very easy to get data into eMarketeer. Just paste an Excel file or Excel rows and columns into eMarketeer, and then you can work with the data from there. Hope that answered that question. Here's a question from John Eric. Can eMarketeer integrate with SuperOffice on-premise? Certainly, Eric. John, sorry. We integrate both with the online cloud version and with the on-premise versions. So, and there's no difference in the functionality there. Here's a long question from Birte. Just a second. Is there any chance to have people just unsubscribe from one email type, meaning you're working with selections and developing a contact? He then unsubscribes from the general email. It just wants to get a specific mailing. How do you do that? Absolutely, Birte. In eMarketeer, you can have different types of unsubscribe with the built-in unsubscribe functionality. You can basically have people unsubscribe from everything you do in eMarketeer, or you can have them unsubscribe on a campaign level. So let's say that you want people to unsubscribe from different campaigns. You can do that by setting the way that you handle unsubscribes on the account and on the, just let me get where that is. Sorry, it's on the on account and on corporate settings. Here you will have the different ways that you can handle unsubscribes in eMarketeer, either unsubscribe from your account, entire campaign, or unsubscribe from per campaign. You can also ditch the built-in functionality and really manage this with your lists in eMarketeer. So you have lists of recipients, and you move people back and forth between different lists depending on what they are subscribing to. And you can use automations to pick people out of lists and drop people into lists as well, Peter. So that's certainly doable. And then keep in mind, with SuperOffice integrated, you can update the interest codes in SuperOffice automatically as well. Here's another question from Jan. Jane or Jan, I'm not quite sure, sorry about that. How how do you see the email activity in SuperOffice? So here's a stab at what I think you're asking. How do you see the activities inside SuperOffice? So let me just shift to SuperOffice real quick and look at a contact. So here we are in SuperOffice Online. If you're on SuperOffice on-premise, it looks a little bit different, but don't worry about that. It's the same functionality when it comes to eMarketeer. If we look at the Activities tab, this is where all of the activities end up, both the stuff that you do as a contact owner in SuperOffice. You type in your meeting notes and your emails and your whatnot, and this is also where eMarketeer puts in information. So for instance here, it says it has created an open activity, telephone out, invite Klaus for a test drive, has downloaded this Porsche Spider brochure. And you might recall that that activity is there because he clicked the Porsche brochure in the email. So when I open up this activity in SuperOffice, I can see all of the SuperOffice stuff that I'm used to, the details, descriptions, and whatnot. And then we have a web panel really showing the details. Why is this activity here? It's because this guy opened an email and clicked a specific link, namely the link to Porsche on the website. He's done that twice, and here is how that email looked. So I have a complete email preview of the email that was clicked that has generated this open activity on this person. And it's the same thing with form answers, website visits, SMS activity, mobile app usage. It will all show up on the web panel with details on everything that's been going on right inside SuperOffice. So take another person here. We'll look at another company. We have Michael here. He's visited the company website, and I open up the activity. It tells me when does it happen, and it gives me a detailed report on this person's website behavior. Right. So he's been to the website a lot of times. He's visited the home page 207 times. He's visited the Porsche page 71 times. Ferrari only twice, right? So probably this product is more interesting to him. And then I can see his web visits over time and what they and all the details about those. So I have full insight into visits on the website right from the activity here. Okay, let's see. A lot of questions are coming in. I know we just passed the 45 minutes. It was the content that I had ready for you, and that's why I'm just diving into the questions here and making it as interactive as possible. Let's see. Here's a question from Eva. If a person clicks link A, you send info in perhaps 3 days, and in a different email, he clicks link B. Do you set up and send a person who clicks on both link A and B a third email? I think that's a great approach, Eva. The thing is, you may not, if you have similar services, are you really ready to go down a really narrow path based on one link click, or do you want to make sure that you keep a broad or a broader focus in the following emails? So if you have products and services that are close to one another there, you want to make sure not to send them off on a dead end, so to speak. So if they do click several, you send them off on a third journey there, on a different journey that includes more information. And the real kicker there is make sure that you have automations that updates SuperOffice interest codes. So when a salesperson goes in, opens the contact, he can really see, okay, there's been interest in several different products here, so I better do a little bit of research, maybe look at website visits or other indicators to which products have they spent more time on than others. Here's a follow-up question on that. Doesn't that mean sending too much email? Well, the thing is, and I think we're talking about, like, does this start to feel spammy to have so much information sent to you? The thing about email frequency and feeling of being spammed to, it's not a relation between frequency and sense of spamming. It's a matter of relevance. If you send information that's relevant to your recipients, you will see that you can increase the frequency quite dramatically and still not see a lot of people unsubscribing, still not being seen as someone who's spamming and sending too much email. If you're sending everything to everybody and you do that frequently, people will wear tired of your email frequency and they will start unsubscribing. But if you constantly make sure that you're breaking your big lists into smaller lists with a narrow focus on the content, making sure that the content matches the recipient, you can actually send emails more often than if you don't. So frequency and sense of spamminess, if that's a word, are not related. It is relevance and sense of spamminess that's related. Here's a question from Sumaya again. How to link eMarketeer and the SuperOffice account. If you are on SuperOffice Online, so the cloud version, and eMarketeer, which is a cloud version and cloud only, it's very easy. You simply go into the App Store on SuperOffice and you look up eMarketeer in the App Store and you click connect. You submit a form, and these two apps will be integrated. There's really no technical work in getting those two integrated when it's cloud to cloud. On-premise, depending on your setup on-premise, it takes a little more work, but we're talking about a couple of hours, and we've got both our consulting team and all of our SuperOffice reseller partners and eMarketeer reseller partners are able to help you out on that one. So it's important to stress that it's really not an IT project. We're not talking about a change management project, an IT project for days and weeks. It's a matter of hours, and you have eMarketeer Cloud integrated into your SuperOffice on-premise. Here's a question from John. Can I use a selection in SuperOffice for sending emails through eMarketeer? Absolutely, John. When you are in eMarketeer, let's just go into the campaign that we looked at, the newsletter. Let's say I want to send this email to a selection or project in SuperOffice, like the contacts that are in the selection and project. I click send. I can send it now. I can schedule it for a later send out and whatnot. Let's just say I wanted to send it now. And then I have the different recipient sources of the email, and you'll see SuperOffice down here. Everywhere you manage contacts in eMarketeer, you will always have SuperOffice. So you click here and you simply search for the selection or project that you have in SuperOffice, and it's listed here. So you see selection, 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 project. And when you click that one and click import, it will import contacts from SuperOffice. It will match up contacts with the eMarketeer database, so we don't create duplicates, and it will send out the email to these persons. So it's when it says import, it's actually a bad word, because import kind of gives you ideas of Excel and comma-separated files and stuff like that, but it simply means transfer the contacts from a SuperOffice selection or project straight into to eMarketeer for a send out. And you can do the same thing the other way. Let's say you want to add all of the people who've clicked or who've been engaged in the Porsche email. You want to add them to a project in SuperOffice. You can do that. You look at the report. You look at the contacts that are in this. So everybody that this has been sent to, for instance, you can export those, and you have SuperOffice as a target for that export as well. And then they send straight to a selection or project in SuperOffice. So that was that, John. A lot of questions are coming through. I understand completely if some of you guys needs to drop off. That's fine. I'm just thrilled about all of these questions that are coming through. So I'll keep plowing through these questions that are coming in. Here's a question from John. When using mailing in SuperOffice, can it integrate with eMarketeer? And what John is referring to is there's also a send out a mailing tool inside SuperOffice, and you can use them side by side. They don't really integrate with each other, so what you're doing in mailing and what you're doing in eMarketeer won't show up on a shared report or something like that, but you can certainly run mailings inside eMarketeer, and you can run mailings inside mailing as well. But there's no integration in between the two. Here is a question from Karin. Can you show us the automation line / setup live in eMarketeer? Absolutely, Karin. I may have already done that once, but if I'm getting it right, it's actually how do you set up an automation? How do you make something happen automatically? Like, for instance, when he opens the brochure in the follow-up email, how do I create that sale in SuperOffice? If that's what you mean. I'll do add automation, and here again I have all of the automations that I can do. I can send emails and update lists and update contacts and whatnot, and I can do all of these things automatically in SuperOffice. In this case, create a new sale. I click that. I can give it a name, Porsche sale, and I can store the contact in a project or a selection if I want to. For instance, the test drive selection. There. So now the contact is also added to the project. Okay, what is this? This is a sales to a new client. It's on the offer stage. I can enter the value, so a Porsche, I don't know. The lead description in SuperOffice, it is first name, so it will merge into first name. First name, downloaded the Porsche fact sheet, for instance. So this is what I would like eMarketeer to do in SuperOffice. Add the person to a selection, create a new sale with all of these parameters. And when should it do it? It should do it when the email Porsche nurture email was clicked at a specific link, and then it shows more of the links in the email, and namely it suggests the links to the brochure. So this is how I set up an automation line. I tell eMarketeer, when someone opens this specific email and clicks this specific link, please do all of this. So that's how you do it, Karen, and that's how you do all of them, whether it's updating interest codes and adding to project selections, creating tasks, it's all the same. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. Here's a question from Louise. Do you have any top tips to encourage salespeople to actually react to leads allocated to them? Ain't that a beauty, Louise? We hand over these quality leads to sales and they just don't get on the ball, right? Well, basically, what I find is when you integrate the CRM with the marketing tool, all of a sudden the CRM starts knowing more about the prospects than the sales reps knew before, right? What's in the CRM is normally the stuff that they've entered, their meeting minutes, their information, and ideally if you integrate CRM and your ERP system or invoicing platform, you also see invoice data and stuff like that, which is great. So it can tell you more about the companies than the sales rep knows himself. And when you then add marketing also, you all of a sudden have all of this information coming to the sales rep that they don't know before. So letting them know that they can see what they've done on the website, see how they've interacted with email campaigns and whatnot is encouraging. Another thing that helps a lot is the leads report, because there's no excuse right now. It's easy to see if we have leads in the CRM that haven't been catered to yet. So on the leads report, you have leads without owners. That basically means leads that have not yet received a contact owner, right? So over here you see, right now we have a person called Test from Triggerform, who is the most interesting sale right now, and you can see the current lead age. That means how long have leads been sitting in this report without anybody in the CRM taking ownership. So in this case, we have a lead that's more than a month old, so the lead response time is more than a month. And typically you say the shorter lead response time, the better chance you have of closing the lead, obviously. So that is something that can encourage them. Go into the leads report, see that you have leads that have not been catered to yet, and make sure that that happens. So the lead report is a good place to start having them interact and follow up on the leads. What we also see is you can use the SuperOffice dashboards, which is a great new addition, SuperOffice dashboards to highlight activity on new leads, on different sales teams or different sales reps, to see who is good at following up. So you can create dashboard tiles with eMarketeer reports on web panels, and also the standard tiles out of SuperOffice. All right, a lot of questions are still coming through. That's awesome. Here's a question from Eva. If the person actually buys a product, is there a sent out ready that sends a thank you email with more quality information or other related products and support info? That's great. So we're not only talking about the pre-purchase journey, we're also actually talking about onboarding a client and what do we do with the client after they came on board to make sure that they keep buying or keep sending us feedback, whether they're happy or we keep them up to date on what we're doing with products and services. So it's a great question. So typically, the buying process doesn't happen on the marketing side. It happens in the CRM or in an e-commerce platform that really registers here as someone who really converts from prospect to client. So let's say, for the sake of the example with the CRM, that a sales rep has been doing a dialogue and now he has registered the lead as one, and he wants to initiate a process in eMarketeer that starts the client onboarding. So let's grab a person here. I'll say, okay, so now I've closed the deal with Thomas here, and I want to kickstart a series of emails to this person. I can go ahead and grab a trigger form. So this is basically a form that you've built in eMarketeer that you make available on a web panel inside SuperOffice. So here's your little remote control for activities in the marketing platform, even though you don't have access to the marketing platform. So what do you want to do? In this case, it's send meeting evaluation, send white paper, or register for roadshow. Let's say meeting evaluation was start a new customer onboarding, for instance. That's the process you want to start. You see it already knows the contact because you've highlighted him here, and you simply say go. Then SuperOffice, through this form, will tell eMarketeer, okay, start the client onboarding email flow to Thomas, sending him product information, waiting 6 months before you send him the new client satisfaction evaluation, and so on. So that is how you can, from SuperOffice, trigger activities in eMarketeer based on when a lead came in, for instance. If you want to get really techy, you can also do this with scripting. So whenever a customer changes category from prospect to customer, you can trigger things automatically to eMarketeer with CRM scripts. There's a question from Louise. I don't see the eMarketeer buttons on my SuperOffice Navigator bar. Where do I need to go and add them, please? The short story is it's in the settings and maintenance. It's on the GUI list there. But let's follow up on that directly. It's not difficult, but it's a little bit too technical maybe for this webinar. But it is in the settings and maintenance, and you look for lists, and you look for GUI, and that's where you create the web panels. And basically, whether they're shown here or up on the SuperOffice icon on the different web panels is a matter of where you make them available. Keep in mind they also work on Pocket CRM, so you have it on your mobile phone as well. Okay, it looks like no more questions are coming in at this point. We're 5 minutes past the hour. What a lot of questions still, a lot of you people still on the webinar. That's awesome. I just want to highlight a fact here as well. You're not alone when it comes to setting up automations and figuring all of these things out yourselves, whether you're brand new to eMarketeer or you're an eMarketeer veteran but you would like to get SuperOffice to integrate, or vice versa. You've been using SuperOffice and you're curious about eMarketeer. We've got a team of consultants and great support guys ready to help you out. If you have a SuperOffice reseller or an eMarketeer reseller, contact those guys. We've got a lot of black belts out there who can help you out. So you're definitely not alone. Check out eMarketeer.com/services. We've got a lot of kickstart packages and getting started packages that will help you get going there. If you're curious about more with regards to eMarketeer and eMarketeer for SuperOffice, we've got a series of webinars coming up. Just after summer, we're looking at how to do surveys and evaluations and make those measurements available right inside the CRM. We've got events management and how you tie event marketing into SuperOffice, mobile apps and hacks for SuperOffice that you do through eMarketeer. So we've got a lot of content coming your way. So make sure to check out our webinars section, sign up for our newsletter, and follow us on social to be briefed about when these things are coming. I'll also be sending out a brief email after this webinar with the slides, recording, and also an evaluation. So if you thought it was worthwhile today, let me know. And just as important, let us know what we can do better and what you'd like to see more of in future webinar. A lot of comments are streaming in here. Is from John Lovett. Thank you very much, John. I'm glad. Here's a quick question from Jesse. How do you set the value on the lead? When you set up the sales for a potential sale, you can set up the amount, the monetary amount that the potential sales should have in SuperOffice. So you simply fill that out, just as you do the text fields. He clicked on Porsche. You simply fill out the value there, and that will populate inside SuperOffice for the sales forecasting. Do you have any further info on trigger forms in SuperOffice? A question from Chris. Chris, keep an eye out on the webinars page. We will have a webinar coming up that is called something like 5 hacks for SuperOffice or something like that, and that's what we'll go into the details about the trigger forms. In a nutshell, it's a form you build in eMarketeer, just as you would do any form, and you make that form available on a web panel inside a SuperOffice with a few tweaks, and then you will have those trigger forms. So we will cover that in a future webinar, Chris. If you have questions even before that, just shoot us an email on support@eMarketeer.com, and we can get into that. A lot of positive feedback. Thank you so much, guys, for all that. Keep the questions coming. But for now, we're 5 minutes past the hour. Thank you for your time. and all of your questions, and for playing along in the quick polls. Do reach out to me if you have questions about eMarketeer, how we integrate to SuperOffice. If you have specific SuperOffice questions, I'll be happy to forward you to our good friends at SuperOffice, or reach out to your SuperOffice partner and reseller. Keep the questions coming. Thank you for your time, for those of you who are leaving at this hour. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Luis. You're welcome, Michael. Thank you for all of the great feedback here. Thank you, Tanya. Hope you enjoyed it, and I got answered to all of your questions there. And Michael says, worth starting up. Will it help, though? Have a black belt from your network, I hope. Have a great day. Absolutely, Michael. We will send an eMarketeer SuperOffice Ninja your way, and you'll be up and running in no time. And welcome, Jim. Hi, Jesse. Thanks for listening in. Thank you so much for all of the feedback. I'm going to call it quits now. Thank you for your time, all of your feedback, and your answers in the polls. Looking forward to seeing you on an upcoming eMarketeer webinar. Bye-bye, everybody.